Welcome back to Taylor's Trek Adventures. This is a bit of a longer one, but we are at Martinsville to cover 3 series of NASCAR racing, starting off the drive from North Carolina to Martinsville, Virginia every day, and you go in and you see the Hendrick Motorsports celebration already in full swing from the garage area to everywhere around the track. You get to the pits and it's pretty cool. It's very compact, and obviously you have to start at the hot dog stand. So I got the hot dog and made the trek up to the press box. That's where I was this weekend. So a little bit of a different view and a bit of a different perspective for this weekend. They have this sign at every single track and I absolutely adore it, but it's about a 15-minute walk up the stairs, up the elevator, into this beautiful view in the press box. And as soon as I set my things down, it was time to try the hot dogs. I would give it a 5 out of 5. It was much better than I thought it was, but the red on the hot dog is a little unsettling, not gonna lie. But you catch the view of the spotters getting ready to do their thing as the truck series start practice and qualifying. A lot of records broken this weekend for practice and qualifying in those series, so pretty exciting to see there. Because I'd never gone to Martinsville before and because I'd never covered all 3 series in one race weekend, I was trying to find a rhythm. So what I ended up doing is before each race, I would go down to the garage area, kind of see driver intro, see what I could see around the track, around the garage area. Once the pace laps began, or at least I saw the first maybe 20 laps of the race, I ended up going back to the press box before going back down to get post-race interviews. I got to ask a few questions to Ty Majeski, who had a really strong truck, just wasn't able to close the deal. Christian Eckes really took it from there. And then also talking to Chase Purdy, who had his best finish of the season. I wrote a post-race article about him and his year so far. I also got myself in one of Matt Weaver's videos, so I had to show this. I look so awkward doing this, but that's fine. I ended up going back up to the press box, grabbed my stuff, and before I knew it, I was so freaking tired, and we were up for the very next day of racing. I swear I clean up nicely, and here we are. That was a rough morning, because there was a lot of walking the day ahead. I was not expecting to be so worn out as I was, but day 2, already in full swing, heading back into the garage area and walking around and seeing what we could see, the Xfinity cars getting ready to roll for the day. But before that even happened, it was time for the Cup Series to show what they could do in practice and qualifying. The haulers were all set up in the garage area, and it was time to go. I went back to the press box as well to catch all this action. I covered practice and qualifying, and typically during this part of the weekend, I'm in the media center covering the media scrum. What we call it is basically when NASCAR takes the top 30 drivers in points and brings them in kind of all together, and you get quotes from whoever you want. And this weekend, since I was in the press box, I really focused on covering practice and qualifying. I had my stories lined up for me. There was really no need for me to be in that media scrum, so I really focused on the task at hand. So I'll cut practice and qualifying. Before we knew it, it was time to set up for the Xfinity Series race. Again, an incredible view from the press box. I cannot stress this enough, especially at Martinsville. It's just gorgeous, and you get to see kind of everything firsthand. You get to see every single turn, all the action all at once, which is really, really helpful when you're trying to put stories together and really keep an eye on certain drivers during the race weekend. And before I knew it, the race was over. It was a bit of a messy race, but I headed back down to the garage area. I did get to feel the speed that Martinsville has to offer, getting really up close to this gate right here. And then I got to do post-race interviews. I wrote a post-race piece on Anthony Alfredo. He's had a really good season so far, and I don't think it's been recognized enough. So it was awesome to talk to him, especially about his race. It was a really good race. Unfortunately, it did not end the way I think he would have hoped. So looking forward to seeing what he can do at Texas and what that Our Motorsports number 5 can do moving forward. And then got this really cool conversation with Travis Quaffle and hearing about his son Carson and just his experience of seeing him prosper in his career, and Dale Jr. in the background, just, nonchalantly, no big deal. But that was really cool to hear this conversation play out. This was a much longer night. Same start time as the truck race, but we didn't get back until 3 in the morning, knowing that I had to be up at 7. I fell asleep in everything I had on the day before. I was too tired to care. And then I woke up. This is Hazelnut. There was no way for me to be grouchy at all when I wake up to this when I'm trying to get ready. We love Hazelnut. So adorable. And what else do we love? We love blue skies at the racetrack. So welcome from the cloudy, cold grossness that we had the past 2 days prior. And before the race, I love to walk around the fan zone. It gives me a chance to step back before the chaos of the race starts and the work really begins. It was really awesome to see how many fans were wearing Hendrick Motorsports gear to celebrate their 40th anniversary, and the displays and everything they had around the track was awesome. We all know how the script played out. It was a really, really good day for them. I expected nothing less. And my favorite favorite scheme from them this weekend was Alex Bowman's Ally Ruby Red. I think the Ally print on his primary is awesome, and it really played well into that. I got to see some friends. Shout out to Molly. Her and I did a little bit of a pit road walk. We noticed 5, 6, and 7 were next to each other on pit road. We thought that was hilarious, and we also saw all of these fans on the track before the race started, and as they started to head out, I knew I had to. So change of plans for me this weekend. I went straight up to the press box because I wanted to beat the crowds, and I realized at that point I was going to have to take the stairs because the elevators were just jam-packed. And this was not a fun experience taking the stairs. This is me regretting my decisions, but good cardio, and I got this view. I'm a little afraid of heights, but come on. Seeing Martinsville from that high up is just absolutely incredible, and the fans filled the stands very well this weekend. Again, a lot of people celebrating Hendrick Motorsports. I saw the cars take the green flag and some pit stops. This is the pit stop where Joey Logano took only 2 tires to jump ahead of everybody. We thought it could have led to a stage win. Obviously, we know how it worked out for him. And then many laps later, I went back down to the garage area, booked it to the media center, and it's packed on race weekend depending on the track. And this is one of the tracks where it's so close to North Carolina. It's going to be busy. I set down my stuff, went back out, and this is my reaction when the caution fell really late in the race. And unfortunately for Chase Elliott, he did not get the win. William Byron celebrating right behind him. But this was probably one of the strongest races he's had so far this season. He talked to the media about it, talked obviously about the success of Hendrick Motorsports, how big of a deal this is for that organization. I also got this conversation with Chris Gabehart talking about the decision to bring Denny Hamlin into the pits on that last caution. Kind of a Hail Mary move. Also talking about how the short track package needs to change drastically. Then I went back to the media center. We captured this interview with Jeff Gordon, William Byron, of course, Rudy Fugle, his crew chief, came in as well. And before we knew it, we were recording an episode of Above the Yellow Line, and we captured some crazy things. When you're live at the track, you capture a golf cart trying to run around the track and a police officer trying to tell them that ain't it. Really fun moment to witness in person. Like, that was totally bizarre, but we got on with it. We started recording Above the Yellow Line and finishing everything out there. So really thankful for Toby for being part of the episodes for the last 2 races. It's been really fun to have somebody to kind of banter off of during these race weekends, as opposed to kind of doing them by myself in the studio back at home. So really exciting. But that was it, my trip to Martinsville. It was a really fun experience. This track has been on my bucket list for the longest time. So until next time, I'll see you guys at the track for another Taylor's Track Adventures.